Welcome back guys to another one of my Gotham videos and my review of episode 4 of season 4. So as per the usual with my weekly reviews of Gotham, I'm going to be presenting you with my review and Easter eggs for this episode, with major focus on the ones pertaining to the Long Halloween and the Batman Year 1 arcs from the comics. But to start with, it was yet another good episode on a season that has been pretty good so far. The episode is titled The Demon's Head, so we pretty much knew going in to watch it what it is that we were in for. But before I venture into my review of episode 4, let me remind you that I've got a $25 Amazon gift card giveaway running throughout all of my DCTV videos. All you've got to do to be eligible to win is be a subscriber and leave a relevant comment down below. Now with the title of the episode, Ra's al Ghul is most definitely at the center of all of it. And to be fully honest, so far I was not really big on the choice of actor to play the character. As he made his first appearance close to the end of season 3, I was not really getting the kind of vibe expected from a Ra's al Ghul portrayal. But I've got a change of mind after watching this episode. So I'm kind of expecting an extremely well portrayed Demon's Head on Gotham, one that could possibly end up being better than that of Matt Nable's on Arrow. But while we're still on the subject of Ra's al Ghul, that very first meeting with Jim was pretty interesting. I liked how that scene presented us with more insight into the show's version of Ra's al Ghul by having him relay his very own story as if it were some sort of a legend, just a story, as he refers to it. Now on another front, there is Sophia Falcone, who I strongly believe will be one or two major villains this season, along with Ra's al Ghul. But I gotta say the acting put into this role is quite captivating, the way she's being portrayed. So far she's put on the all angry and all upset act, the taking a liking to Jim act, the I'm a gangster and I'm back for my city act, and the Mr. Cobblepot, I'm such a fragile girl act. And the actress portraying the role of Sophia does have quite the talent in displaying such a multitude of emotions. But Sophia is also portrayed as a pretty smart woman. She's pretty much having Penguin play right into her hands, putting in fake tears, playing the role of the used person, the innocent girl, in all of this. And Penguin on the other hand seems to be swallowing the bait, not realizing that a few Falcone loyalists are but a small price she's willing to pay to keep him off her own scent. But this entire Sophia Falcone arc goes to prove that Jim does have a type. He generally seems to fall for women with the tendency to become crazy villains, inject themselves to become crazy villains, or already have a history of family villainy. But on the subject of Jim and crazy villainesses, it's always fun watching him and Barbara have a scene together. He does notice that she seems different, and I'm sure he didn't just mean her new hairdo. And it does make sense with Barbara being more grounded and less on the crazy side of things since she made her comeback. Now on this episode as well, we've got Victor Zsasz, who should be identified as the character with the least number of lines, yet some of the most memorable moments. We've got Edward Nygma as well, having lost his touch, still obsessed with killing Oswald and sending him rappers with terrible riddles. He's not really the smart man he used to be anymore, and by the time the episode is over, he's admitted to the fact. And Penguin actually lets Nygma go to live on, not knowing who he is anymore. I think that scene is pretty much my favorite on this episode. I think as well it's gonna come around to bite Penguin in the ass. But with that being said, let's move on to my weekly list of Easter eggs. Number 1. A man is dead, a child is potentially missing. This is no time to play detective. That statement, along with a couple of others that came after, they sounded like a total nod to the detective that Bruce Wayne would become over time, one worthy of having the separate comic book lineup we've come to know as Detective Comics. But moving on to number 2, Bruce's persistence to play detective, his knowledge about Ra's al Ghul, and the fact that he was hiding it, both are things that will strengthen Jim's suspicions of him being the Gotham vigilante later on this season. He's already growing suspicious as evidenced by his conversation with Alfred close to the end of the episode. In the comic book Year 1 arc, one the back half of the season will be based off of, Gordon has all these bits and pieces of suspicion-raising incidents that points him towards Bruce Wayne being Batman. But moving on to number 3, Ra's al Ghul is not really doing all his dirty work on his own. On this episode, he's actually got Anubis doing part of it for him. Now the character's name is actually taken right out of ancient Egyptian mythology. Anubis happened to be the ancient Egyptian god of the dead and the one responsible for the afterlife in their religion back then. His depiction in said mythology is of someone with a human body and a canine head, which explains the dog-like manner the character acted in. In the comics as well, he's based on the ancient Egyptian god and is actually a dog-like humanoid. He's known in the comic books to be an enemy of Blue Beetle and at some point the JSA. The show's Anubis, though, is not really representative of his counterpart from the comics, which is not really as brainless. But with that being said, and all in all, it was a pretty good episode in a season that keeps us wanting more. It did leave us with one major question though. What is Ra's al Ghul's endgame, and why was he willing to get caught and end up in prison? So let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode and if you've got an answer for the Ra's al Ghul question that I just posed. Let me know as well if you liked this video by slapping it a much appreciated like, and while you're at it, you can always subscribe and enable notifications. And until I see you next time, thank you all for watching and have a good one.